Alex Garcia, aka the Finance Pastor. What an honor and a privilege it is to be welcomed into your home. And what a week it has been in the stock market with a lot of indecision. There's a big decision today by the Fed. There's going to be releasing some numbers. Many believe that the news is going to be maybe negative, but we are seeing President Trump and Chairman Fed Jerome Powell really getting into a war of words. And we know that both of these men need to work together for the good of the American people. And no matter where you stand, there has to be a place where we can all get along. That's the biggest thing. We are in a divided country right now, with everyone believing that they're right, and we're starting to see that. That's really taking a toll on the people. And before we get into a couple of the charts that I want to look at, uh, I've said this before, but don't let an elephant or a donkey destroy your relationships with other people. God cares more about how you treat your neighbor than your ministry. We see a lot of things of all this, over the last few days about the Super Bowl and Bad Bunny and Kid Rock and TPUSA with their version. You know, I look at it and I'm thinking, okay, the alternative that we have is Kid Rock. And I'm say this, there's nothing holy about him. And to like kind of pigeonhole yourself into saying that this is conservatism and we're confusing Christianity with one party or another. And in the words of Jelly Roll, Jesus is for everybody. Jesus is for everybody. And we have got to come off our high horse and believing that we know what's right. God died on the cross. He sent his son Jesus to die on the cross for all of us. None of us are perfect. So, as you start fighting with people on the internet and all this stuff, that stuff does not matter. But what God cares more about how you treat your neighbor than your ministry. And I think God is going to bring the church into a season of forgiveness. We need to forgive. And wherever you find yourself, don't fight over someone who's never going to shake your hand. Some of these politicians, their job is to create chaos. But I would say is as the body of Christ, we're supposed to be worried about souls. Souls is our end goal. So I'm gonna get off my high horse on that, but I wanted to say is that we need to be in a place where we can talk to our brothers and sisters. I don't sway one way. I don't like being pigeonholed into I'm this or that. Many people ask, Brother Garcia, where do you lean? Do you lean left? The answer is no. Well, do you lean right? The answer is no. Well, where do you lean? And according to Exodus chapter 14, I don't lean left and I don't lean right. I stand. I stand on God's promises. If God calls something a sin, I'm going to call it a sin. If God calls something holy, you best believe I'm going to call it holy. And we come into a place where we want to worship an elephant and a donkey when I worship the Lamb of God, the one that was slain for my iniquities. And as you go forth today, remember, God loves you, God loves your neighbor. They need Jesus too. And sometimes the only Bible that people read is you. So I'm just wanted to get that off my chest, I guess. But I want to talk about what the financial markets are doing. We are in a very kind of crucial day where the stock market is in an indecision phase. We are seeing that the S&P has been flirting with that $7,000 mark. It technically has been consolidating in that 7,000, close to that $7,000 mark for the last 3 months. And I believe that we're still going to see some headwinds. This is not going to be a straight up market. So what I'm seeing is in the next month or so, we're still going to see large swings up, large swings down. And that for the trader is kind of like a difficult position to be. We see crypto has been assaulted over the last few trading days. And I, like many other people who are bullish on crypto, I'm buying more. This is the time when we say buy low, sell high. This is the time to buy. I see Jamie Dimon. He speaks of ill of Bitcoin, and the thing is, I believe they do that intentionally. Why they the banks are buying little by little by little, and what you start seeing that in these dips with crypto, with XRP, with Ethereum, with Bitcoin, Solana, Litecoin, and all these other tokens that are of value, it is now the time to buy when everything is falling. And when you look at an investment from a long-term period, I'm thinking 20 years down the road. I'm not thinking about tomorrow. If you're looking at a stock and you're saying, how much is it going to be tomorrow? You are going to be worried. But if you're doing what's called dollar cost averaging, that's a way to maybe position yourself into buying low and then selling high. As an investor, those who play the long game, I'm going to say that again. For those who play the long game, they'll outperform any mutual fund manager. They'll outperform any day trader. They'll outperform any a swing trader or position trader any day of the week. What I have found is when you are the patient person, you play the long game and you're investing in good stocks, dividends, adding some positions like with covered calls and protective puts, you will do so much better than the person who's just trying to make a quick buck and maybe day trading. You're gonna make more money over the long term. So now that the stock is dropping, I would say is add now. There's so many great stocks that are basically at 50% off right now. You have Coinbase, you have Robinhood, Palantir, Google has gotten beat up, Netflix has gotten beat up. You start seeing companies like Bitmine, Strategy. Those are stocks to me that are a 50% discount right now. And there's other good stocks that you're seeing that, hey, these have gotten beat up for so long. I love my position in Ford. Ford is not like a heavy mover, but it's one of those that it allows the average person, even with like $1,400, you could buy 100 shares of Ford stock. And with that, you can do rent out and do some covered calls. And your average about 9% just on that alone. And also, if you add the dividends that it gives you, you're like at 11 to 12% a month. So if you're looking for the patient person's game, another stock that I've seen that is almost a half off is I'm looking at Rigetti, quantum computing. That one was a $54 stock. It has gotten beat up. It's now at the $17, $16 range. So there's a lot of opportunities in the stock market for you to make money. Now, I want to go ahead and look at some stock charts and let's see like what we're looking at and let's see what opportunities we can find. Let's go share my screen right here. And we are looking at a stock chart of the S&P 500. If you can see this area, we've just been consolidating just in the $7,000 mark. You've been seeing the futures was flirting with that $7,000 mark overnight, but it was a big dud in the morning. It was shot up about 40 points, but now it's back down to 15. Let's look at the Nasdaq. Nasdaq again been in choppy waters. We have the whole country and the whole except the Dow Jones. We have really been in a consolidation pattern over the last 3 to 4 months. You can see like around the middle of October, we just been in this range right here. It's just been up and down, up and down. I believe that we're going to continue to see a lot of these movements in these stocks that are just going to be consolidating. And it needs some type of news to really catapult it up. Right now, interest rates, as long as Jerome Powell is still in the Fed chair, we're not going to see any lower rates. So forget about it. So now you have to act as many traders have money in the sidelines right now. And what you may see is Once the new Fed chair comes in, if he's in line with this government, with this administration, then he is going to lower rates. What that does is for the homeowner, for those who have been waiting for better rates to mortgage a home, then this is will be their opportunity to start getting back in the market. And that's what a lot of investors are doing. This is the Dow Jones. Like we said, it crossed the $50,000 mark, and this one has been more of a steady eddy. This one has been more of, okay, we've been going on a nice pattern. If you look at this line right here, you look at that, it's kind of been just following this little trend right here. It's beautiful right here. This is a great, beautiful trend. And if you're a position trader or a trend trader, if you're trading the diamonds, this would be one of those that you have done very well for the patient investor. So we're starting to see a lot of moves in the Dow Jones, the top 30 stocks that has done very well. The VIX, you kind of see that it's kind of consolidated a little bit, kind of lowered, but we've been having these big spikes, none bigger than this one right here, this drop down. But we have seen this VIX kind of slow down a little bit. Let's look at Apple. Apple, again, it looks like it's doing a V shape. See this V shape right here? It looks like it's doing a recovery. Apple is one of those few companies that really is, they need, they have profitability coming, but what they haven't had is innovation. uh, Tim Cook, he has carried this company since the death of Steve Jobs, but there hasn't been that innovative power. And you look at people like Johnny Ives, he lost a lot of great people. And Johnny Ives has been partnering with a lot of other people in Silicon Valley who are who's probably making a lot of more innovative tools. If I was Apple, I would reach back into Johnny Ives and see if he would come back, because as a Mac person, a Mac head, I'm doing this on an Apple computer. I really love Apple, but there's no products that I'm like, ooh, let me go get it. It's not really that, but as a stock, is a steady Eddie type of stock. And if you always want growth, to me, the Mac heads like myself, we're always going to be loyal to the Apple product, just like I am loyal to the New York Jets. Unfortunately, too loyal. But like we're looking here now, I want to look at this stock Netflix. Netflix, I have a chart here. Netflix is in a place where I want to buy. Now, I bought this last week, but I got stopped out at the $82.50 range. I got stopped out. But I love this phase right here. It's my belief that this stock is still undervalued. Now, one of the things that I caution people that before they invest in this type of stock right here, I will look at, there's a lot of headline risk with the Warner Brothers purchase. You have a lot of uh, uh, probably, what would I say? The word is probably, you have a lot of people that are against this type of merger, where people from Congress are actually questioning if this is going to be a monopoly. But you also have a lot of big money behind Paramount. Larry Ellison is in the he's kind of providing the cash and to Paramount, and this could be a detriment to Netflix over the next couple of months, in the next couple of weeks. If the talks with Warner Brothers breaks down, this stock could go back down into the $65 range, maybe $55 range, depending on how many of the investors believe that's a bad move. Now, if this does work and Warner Brothers does take the and they accept the offer, then you could see this stock take off and go back up to that 120, 122, 114 range, which is on a good move in a couple of months. That's a nice ROI right there. So Netflix has been on my watch list. I was in there, like I mentioned, I got stopped out, but that's part of playing the game in the stock market. I do what's called the risk reward ratio. I only want to risk $1, but I want to make three. So I look at George Washington. George Washington at one time was a officer in the army. He fought for our freedom. Now he became our first president. But now George Washington, he's been gone for over 255 years, but he still lives, but he lives in our dollar. And I always say this, that I will only set George Washington free if he comes back with two or three. You just need to know where to set him free in order for him to come back with two or three. So I'm looking for opportunities for this stock right here. I believe that it will go up, but I'm cautiously waiting for the next few months. Let's look at other stocks. We look at gold. Actually have a rebound, is up over 5,000 for all the gold people holding gold. You're happy. For silver, I'm happy for silver because I own silver. Now I wish it went back lower so I can buy more, but like many people understand, this is a hedge play. This is one of those stocks that I really like, a metal, excuse me, that I really like, but this is one that I will hold. Let's look at QQQ. NASDAQ, the QQQ has been pretty much just like the NASDAQ, been consolidating. A lot of V shapes there. A lot of V. It's looking for something to propel it up. We have seen a lot of hits on the tech sector with Palantir, just Netflix. You see a lot of stocks that had just been beaten up in the NASDAQs, and the QQQ is kind of mirroring that. SPY, again, been following the SPX. Diamonds, we already talked about that one, but Diamonds has a better view right here. This is, I'm feeling this one. So here, look at this beautiful move. If you've been playing the Diamonds, look at this nice move up. That's a nice move right there. Diamonds are doing well. Jets, which I'm a fan of, it's an ETF that takes a lot of the traveling companies. This is a steady Eddie stock. If you're looking for an ETF that follows the traveling industry, this is a good barometer of where the economy is at. So if you like a steady Eddie stock, this one doesn't move a whole lot. 50 to $1 a day move. So that one is one of those that I would consider. It was down, and you miss your opportunity to get a jump back up. Royal Caribbean. Royal Caribbean has really come back after it went down to the $250 range, 250. It has bounced back up to the 339 range, which has had a great move. And a lot of it is just the earnings. Earnings are good. You have a lot of people who don't want to travel through Carnival that are really taking Royal Caribbean. So this is one that I would definitely keep my eye on. And if it drops, you should be buying. I would see if this stock were to drop again, it's going to fill this gap right here. This gap is going to get filled eventually. Let's look at Amazon. Every day there's Christmas every day in Amazon. Again, this is the one that I must say is, if you believe in this company, this stock right now is at a discount. When I say you want to buy a Louis Vuitton purse for a TJ Maxx price, this is what I'm talking about. Many people, when I say buy low, sell high, they think that I'm saying buy it at $1 and sell it at 1,000. No, 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 no. What we mean is, look at this stock that had a precipitous drop. Now it could go back down a little lower. It hasn't filled this gap up right here. So I would look at the $192 range. If this stock goes back down to the 192 range, I'm going to put this on my watch list and I'm going to load up. Amazon has a lot of revenue that comes in. Amazon is one of the few, it's the eBay of our generation, except it's eBay 2.0. Amazon does not make products, but Amazon is basically a wholesaler. And I love that. And if you look at it, they don't create no products. They just connect willing buyers with willing sellers. Now, along with that, Jeff Bezos has also invested in a lot of great companies. AWS is a big thing. Whole Foods is a big thing. But AWS is going to be a catalyst in the AI data center movement. So I believe Amazon, I love what Jeff Bezos does. I think he's an innovator of our time. I find him Elon Musk, Larry Ellison, and even Mark Zuckerberg. They're like the Tom Edison, the Henry Fords of our day. I mean, these are really true innovators. So I'm looking at Amazon right here. AMD, another one that I like. I feel like everyone who got tired of Nvidia just basically put all their money into AMD. AMD has been very choppy lately. It hasn't been a straight line up, but this is a huge gap right here. This one concerns me. If AMD has bad numbers, if they don't produce in the next earnings, and the next earnings is pretty much in 3 months from now, I could see this gap being filled over here. Like, look at this huge gap. If this stock were to ever fall down, it will go back down to around the 166, $168 range. So I'm cautiously looking at this one. I was in AMD. I had it long time ago. I sold it. I still made a profit, so I'm happy for it. But it is what it is. I probably should have stayed, but I like it. Meta. Any of you who have heard me before knows that I am bullish on Meta. I am bullish, 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 bullish on Meta. To me, Mark Zuckerberg has always been on the in crowd, and his move to Florida is going to put him near proximity to a lot of influential people in the United States. Proximity Proximity is the key, and they're in the in crowd. To me, this is a discounted stock, even at the $600 range. I've been saying this for months. I believe that this stock is $1,000 stock. You could see a stock split, but if you're buying now, I think you're buying at a discount, and that's a personal opinion. And you have to look at it is I'm not swing trading this one. This is a long-term play. This is a I'm holding 15, 20 years. So if you're that type of investor, if you're the type of person who is patient, you're going to see some great moves from Meta. Meta is one of my favorites. I like it. I mentioned Ford stock, Steady Eddie. This is my covered call strategy. I love having Ford in my portfolio. Why? Because I drive a Ford. I invest in stuff I understand, stuff that I use, stuff that I can say, oh, I see why people want to buy it. And Ford is one of those that it's not going to make some huge moves overnight, but this is a great covered call strategy. You have some decent dividends that you average out about like 9% a year just on dividends. You couple that with covered calls, that'll add probably another 2 to 5% in addition to the 9% in a year. So if you're patient, this is a good strategy. This is, in my opinion, a good stock to hold. They're actually profitable, not that they cut their losses with the electric vehicle. So I am bullish on this one. It's in my portfolio. I've held it for a while. Nvidia's in a consolidation period. It had recovered from the downturn of the last few weeks. So I'm seeing that as an opportunity to maybe people may want to load up on this stock, but right now it's just in no man's land. The stock market is waiting for some type of news to drive it up. There has been no news to drive it up. That's why you're seeing all these ups and downs, these violent ups and downs. They've been going there. So Nvidia is one of those. Bitmine, BMNR. I have this in my portfolio. This is probably the only stock that I have in my portfolio that is down. Pretty much. I'm in the long term with this one. I've been adding to my position, so I'm doing dollar cost average on this one. But I got my butt handed to me on equity value. Just it's just the drop has been precipitous, but I've been adding little by little. I've been adding to my shares here. But I am bullish on Tom Lee. I'm bullish on Bitmine, and I'm also buying Ethereum. So this is a stock that trades the value of Ethereum. So I do both. So I'm bullish on Ethereum, and I think it is a good play. But that's a personal opinion, and I like this stock. We look at Tesla again. Tesla's in no man's land. Tesla option traders, if you've been on the long-term position option, it's been this has been a tough trade. I've had tough trades with Tesla. I've made some money and I've lost money. I'm pretty much break even with Tesla on the option route. Now, on the stock side, my dollar cost average is in the $162 range. So, this one in the stock world, I'm doing great. In the option, I'm breaking even. I've had some good moves on Tesla, and then you give it right back, especially when they suck out the premium on options. So, this one is, I love Tesla and I hate it at the same time. But I'm also on Tesla. Tesla is no longer a car company, in my opinion. It's a robotic company. So Tesla is going to be making some move. I just want to see who's going to make that big order or purchase for robots. And for some reason, I always think it's the Saudis. I feel like they're the ones that are going to invest in this. So another one that I like, Palantir. The Bible says there will be wars and rumors of wars. Then the end shall come. I'm a very logical person. I feel like God is telling us to invest in defense contractors. He told us there will be war. War is money. Many people don't like to hear that, but war is money. I'm a capitalist. So I want to profit from these moves. Palantir to me is a future technology. We're seeing that the new military is going to be fighting with drones. It's going to be fighting with state of the art technology. And I believe that Palantir is at the forefront. There's others. I'm bullish on a company that's not publicly traded, on Andrew. I am bullish on that. He was the person who kind of is over. Andrew was the one that invented the Oculus. So I'm really bullish on that one. So this is one that I'm waiting for that one to go public. Now, will it go public? I don't know. It's supposed to be sometime in 2026. When that will be, who knows? But right now, Palantir to me is one of those. Also, Kratos Defense is also another one that I'm looking at. But it's just they received a contract, and I believe they're going to be on the forefront here. So many mini futures keep to be on the upside. So far everything is pointing up, but anything could change with Jerome Powell, and that's the key. And that's the key with Jerome Powell right now. What's going to happen with him, and and are they going to do anything with Fed rates? What are the job reports, the updated versions? So that's what I believe is going to happen. So we'll know more in the next hour. And I am bullish on America, but I'm also cautiously trading in the stock market. I have more money in the sidelines right now until I see a clearer path. Until then, it's just waiting and then just adding to the positions I already have. If there's positions like Bitmine, I've been adding to my positions because of the downturn. To me, is about dollar cost average. I'm looking at those stocks on how much it will be worth in 15, 20 years. So that's one of those things there. So love talking to you guys about the stock market. I also want to transition right now and talk about the New York Jets. Now, first of all, congratulations to Sam Darnold. First of all, I hated when we traded you. I hated when the ownership just got rid of you. But Woody Johnson, you got to be kicking yourself that you let a world champion quarterback walk away from the building. You have to answer to the Jets fans for that. You've meddled in every decision that this organization has had. That's why you have had the results that you have. So, what are you going to do, Woody? Are you going to cave in because you don't like what's happening? Right now, Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji are actually the right people that we need. The reason why the Patriots went to the Super Bowl and we as New York Jets fans are always watching them is because they have a better culture. They have a better culture in that building. They have people who are no names that come into that building and play lights out. We have invested in superstars that have never worked out. You've left us worse than where we were at before. So now, as a Jet fan, we're all in the rebuilding phase right now. Yet again, I've been a fan since 1983. My first inkling to the New York Jets was the sack exchange. Mark Gastineau, Abdul Salam, Joe Klecko, and Marty Lyons. And that was my first introduction to the New York Jets. One of the reasons why I trade in the stock market was because of that photo of the New York Stock Exchange. It was one of those photos that I stand back and I'm like, that was it. That was it. I always wanted to trade in the stock market. I just didn't know how. But Woody Johnson, you've got to give Darren Muji and Aaron Glenn a chance to build out this roster. You don't change culture overnight. Yet some of these coaches, yes, they do have success, but there's a rot and a stench in one Jets drive. And it's you. It's you, Woody. I love you, not bashing you, but you have to give them a chance. And this 2 year, and if they don't do anything this year, you're going to fire them. That's a wrong move. You have a really good GM in Darren Muji. Aaron Glenn, a former New York Jet player. If you treat him badly, what does that say for the rest of the league? That even former players can't get no love here. That's what you're saying. Now, many people may not like his approach, but we need someone that could tell these players how it is. And one of the things that many players have said to Aaron Glenn's credit was he never changed from the beginning of the season to the end. And it is hard to be positive in a losing environment. It is hard to be positive in a losing environment. And you have a coach that's willing to put blood, sweat, and tears to that. And there's a lot of Jets fans that are not going to agree with me. I really don't care. But you always want quick fixes. And the same Jets that are now happy for Sam Darnold, a lot of you were complaining about him, which is the most hilarious thing. A lot of these media pundits, I feel like they talk down about Sammy, and now that he's really much won a Super Bowl, they were like, we knew it, but you weren't that way when he was here. So all of a sudden there's a change. But I am bullish on the New York Jets. I like them a little too much. And last year I had to stop going to some of the games because I would fly out to the games because I would come back so angry. So my wife was like, "What's wrong with you?" This year I went to about like 3 games, but it was just the the pain that they cause fans. Now I was lucky enough that the last game I went to, they actually won against the Atlanta Falcons. And I could tell you this, even before that last 5 game skid, you can tell that a lot of the players were still fighting to win. And I got to give that to those men. You could tell that they were still looking to be winning games and they were fighting. I didn't see any quit in them, and the stadium was empty. So I would say this for you Jets fans: stay positive. Uh, I believe we're gonna be patient, and I think we need to be patient. I just know there's a lot of fans saying we've been patient for 40 years. Well, I've been patient for 43 years, man. So I know what it is to be a long suffering Jet fan. I know what it feels like. But I also know that being a Jets fan, I've learned character. You know why? Because I don't run to another team because my team's not doing well. That's a bandwagon fan. And you know what? People who do that, they do a lot of those things in life. They give up when when things get tough. One of the things that I'm not saying that I'm the best at, but one of the things that people say about me is I don't give up. You know what? I don't give up because I'm a Jets fan. If I'm still okay with wearing this hat all over Tennessee, Chattanooga, Tennessee, uh, and around the country because I travel for work, I'm always representing the Jets because I believe in them. I believe in the organization. I do believe in Woody. I believe Woody wants to win very bad. And I really do believe that. But I also want to say, Woody, you need to let your coaches coach. You need to let your GM draft players. I believe you got this right, buddy. I really do believe you got Darren Muji and Aaron Glenn right. And I also look at who was in that process, which is Mike Tannenbaum. And many people, I heard there was a fan that kind of berated Mike Tannenbaum. But Mike Tannenbaum loves the Jets. I really do. Him and Rex Ryan. I really do. Like we they have a love for the New York Jets fans and fan base. So I believe that Mike Tannenbaum did this with the best interest of Jets fans and Jets ownership. And it's up to Woody to really give them a chance. The Charlie Casserly, the that experience, we got Adam Gase, bad move. John Idzik was a bad GM. Mike McCagnon was a bad GM, and so was Joe Douglas. Joe Douglas was a bad GM. A lot of his players, the late round draft picks, did not pan out. They were horrible. They were terrible. So you have to look at our scouting team has got to be on point. If our scouting team is on point, we have a chance in the draft. If our scouting team is not on point, the draft is just going to be a whole bunch of players that won't be in the team in 2 to 3 years. And we also have certain players that we need to keep. Like you look at Demario Davis, you look at Leonard Williams, you look at Sammy, you look at just many other players that have left the New York Jets, gone on to other teams, have been very impactful from a morality standpoint. A lot of them have been leaders in other locker rooms. And one of those is, I mean, we should have never let him go. But that's what we do. We do things like that. Now, I hope they get it right. I'm not. I'm a armchair GM. I don't know that I have all the moves that are right, but I do say is that I do love the New York Jets. And one thing you can tell when a coach wants to be there. That's all I ask is that somebody that wants to be there. And when I see all these sportcasters, all these pundits just really just throw shade on the New York Jets, it bothers me. It bothers me. So I'm hoping you guys can fix it. I really do believe in Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji. In AG and DM, we trust. At least I trust. And you guys do it, man. Bring us a championship. Until next time.